happening, Magnus sites? So, the Real Rejects have made Hollywood friends, and they seem to get invited to all the movie premieres. I'm not jealous. So let's check this out. Let's check this out. They just watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and they're going to give us their take on it.
What is happening there, Reject Nation? Greg and John just got out of the screening for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Okay, so the first thing I gotta give a disclaimer for is that almost every second of this movie is a spoiler.
Really?
You mean that literally. Like, every second of this movie is a spoiler. Here's what I'm going to do. I pulled up the plot description for this film. Dr. Stephen Strange casts a forbidden spell that opens a portal to the multiverse. However, a threat emerges that may be too big for his team to handle. Now, we've seen a lot of TV spots and a lot of trailers.
Yes,
There's a lot of plot that you are not going to get in those trailers.
Or that log line for that matter.
We're going to keep this non-spoilery. Obviously, our spoiler talk we will be doing live stream. We're aiming for it this Sunday. So cancel plans with your mother on Mother's Day and come hang out with us instead. Coy Jandro. It's going to be a really fun time. Here's what I'll kick this off with. This movie's called Multiverse of Madness. Is it madness? Bet your goddamn ass it's madness.
You're gonna wake up with PTSD after this.
Really crazy. Yeah, you're damn right. They're crazy.
Am I mad? Am I going mad? I must be going mad.
No, it's not perfect. The film's not perfect. What movie's perfect, Rick? Why don't you just say that? I hate that criticism. I get it. I've heard you guys say that about anything I've ever said that about before, ever. Some criticisms that I feel like we might be able to dive into without going into spoilers, but let's leave with all the things that are positive about it, because there's so many things that are overwhelmingly positive about it. First things first. This is a Sam Raimi film. This is not Oz the Great and the Powerful, where you slap Sam Raimi's name on there, and you're like, it's kind of a Sam Raimi film, but it feels like they held it back a little bit. There were times where I was like, we are watching the other side of town in his Spider-Man world, where Doctor Strange is having a fight. At times, as you've seen the trailer, that straight up reminds you of his work from like Evil Dead and Drag Me to Hell. The camera work, they really let him be a visual storyteller. I want to say this is my favorite Marvel movie. I would not go there with that. However, it was pretty early on where I was just thinking, this is one of the most exciting Marvel movies I've ever seen. It's probably the most visually dazzling Marvel movie we've ever seen.
Okay.
It is crazy.
Okay.
Just how much they just let him do his thing. The amount of gasps throughout the audience, the amount of applause, with just this. I can't explain. Imagine what you saw in the trailers, all the weirdness, times that by 10, and then forget everything you know, because you're never going to even come close to understanding what I'm getting at. You know, because it is insane. It lives up to the title in the best possible way. Would you agree, John?
I would absolutely agree, and I think that not only does his style really suit the piece, and it doesn't feel like Sam Raimi is at odds with the movie at all or not, it does deliver, I think, a leveling up of some of the intensity, especially just within certain images and certain deeds done and depicted in terms of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There are certain things that are actually kind of shocking in a way I was not expecting this movie to go to in a horror
I've heard it's gruesome
setting, so very much pleased by that. And it feels appropriately sinister and mystical and sort of outside the realm. Like, I think they're doing a really nice job of differentiating the godlike characters from the masters of the mystical arts and the magicians and the witches and whatnot, and then, you know, your traditional sort of Inhumans or you know, super serum injected characters. Like, they do really have a great grip on that sort of occultish end of the MCU, and it gets pretty demonic at points in a way I was kind of surprised by.
This movie was just pure popcorn entertainment. It has that wonderful camp and cheese that is just so damn charming, and it's so effective at times. Maybe not the most effective, but most of the time, it's pretty awesome. Shocking at times, arguably the most imaginative. This feels like a Doctor Strange comic book come to life. I really like Benedict Cumberbatch a lot in this movie. I would say that the one who stole the show was Wanda. Like, I think Wanda...
110%.
I expect that.
She's such a presence,
They keep a lot of her story out of the promos for this, and she's great. It picks up after WandaVision. There's been a little bit of time jump with her character. Let's just keep it at that.
Really?
For yourself. They definitely are building upon it and segueing right out of that into.
I wonder what he means
so brush up
by
on
that.
WandaVision if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, because I think if you haven't seen WandaVision, they give you like a recap, and that's part of the issue that I kind of have with this film, and I'll dive into that in a second. Elizabeth Olsen does something so different here than what she did in WandaVision, and yet still steals the show. You know?
Absolutely.
It didn't even take adjusting, actually. No, I was like, no, this is, I love what she's doing. This is great stuff, man. I really like what she's doing. Xochitl Gomez is also very excellent in this film. I was really endeared to her character. Are there cameos? You guys know there's cameos. And
Multiverse.
Whoa. I found out that some of them are on the internet, so avoid at
Stay
all
offline.
costs, please. What are they doing in this movie?
Woo!
They know how to make it so hard to talk about what they're doing in this
Yes,
movie.
let's say there's some good horror in the film.
Makes me want to call or text him so bad, but I'm gonna wait.
Truly generate applause-worthy stuff.
You know, I'll say this too. I'm usually much more of a reserved audience member at a theater to be respectful, but I was pretty vocal in all ranges of emotion for a lot of this film throughout. So yeah, it's a damn good crowd film for sure.
Even Rachel McAdams returning in this film is pretty freaking solid. I think I enjoyed her more than I did in the first Doctor Strange movie.
I would agree.
Some things that I think are kind of issues for me. This really wasn't an issue for me in the first like 20 to 30 minutes of the film. I was like,
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen a Marvel movie like this so entertaining in the first
Like,
third.
rollicking along,
It's
yeah.
just so entertaining. Yeah. The movie constantly moves really fast, but the thing I would liken it to, and
That's not too bad.
this is going to sound worse than it actually sounds, and I'm not just saying this to be nice, but this is the only thing I can really think of right now to give a basis for how I would liken it without spoiling things. You know when you don't watch those DC shows, but you want to see the crossover event? So you watch the crossover event, and it's like super fast-paced, super quick. It's kind of like a bunch of exposition nonstop. This movie felt like it needed 20 more minutes. It felt like that to me, but a darker, better version of that. It was definitely rushed at times, and at times it is like messy, and not in the way that feels intentional. There are times where it is just like there's too much going on. To me, ultimately, I was still left going, this could have used an extra 20 to 30 minutes to breathe. It really could have.
Okay.
And then other times it needed that pacing. Like this movie excels a lot of the time in the pacing that it's doing, and then other times I'm like, yeah, I kind of wish it would slow down.
In various scenes,
Okay.
when it does slow down and when it does
Maybe we'll
indulge
get a
in the
director's
emotional
cut.
journeys of the characters that are running alongside this, I kept finding myself going, oh yeah, it's a good scene, I like this, let's do more of this, and I do wish they had balanced the movie out with more of that kind of stuff, because it does, especially with certain characters, start to feel like, okay, you're just here for some
The
exposition.
cosmic wonder.
Time for, and your emotional arc is a little perfunctory.
Hey, Warren, you talking about America Chavez?
I'm talking about America Shop.
Yeah, because America Chavez, Xochitl Gomez elevates the role, but I think that about America Chavez
What
too.
is
It's like,
multiverse of reactions? The characterizations and the character journeys, you know, the emotional stuff that isn't the first thing you think of when you come into these movies is something that is a little bit more lacking, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's one of those things where you look at the shows and you look at the movies and you go, damn, the benefit is we have all that time to dive into the characters, and while I liked the emotional journey they had laid out for Doctor Strange, I liked what having Christine Palmer back did for that story as well, and it's just all stuff I wanted more from, and I wanted to be more affected by. It's like there's good work and there's some good writing, but it's not what gets the focus, and I think that it makes some of the, again, emotional payoffs feel a bit perfunctory or feel a bit like, the plot requires that.
Yeah.
Instead of letting you live within the building of certain relationships or the letting go of certain traumas or the, coming to face with your legacy in a, multiversal kind of way.
yeah, it's like part of the point is it's supposed to be madness. There's a way to make chaos feel smooth and natural, and other times you're like, nah, I really think this needed like 20 more minutes.
Yeah, it's like there's madness in the plotting
Yeah.
and in the things that are happening, and I
Yeah.
wanted to feel more of the madness, and it's
Yeah.
there in fits and bursts, but I wanted to feel the emotional madness throughout.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think the reason why I felt that way is because even though it was like full of that wonderful Sam Raimi aesthetic and tone overall, a lot of scenes like looked wonderfully gothic or horror centric, yet for some reason the film seemed to lack in suspense, and when it seemed like it was really going for that, but it was always fun though. That was the thing, it really made up for it in the amount of fun it was. And there's just so many scenes, so much information, a lot of it is just mainly following plot points and reveals, and there are things that might be plot holes, but I'm not sure any in a second viewing. It's really hard to explain it because there's so much that's not in the trailers.
He's got me giddy, man.
Stuff that I'm talking
See,
about
I know him.
trailers, it's like
So
there in the beginning of the movie. So
I know he's
go
holding
into
back
it,
a lot.
because the trailers, plain and simple, don't make it clear. Overall, though, I would say that this movie is very entertaining. A lot of what the writing, I did find myself desiring more. However, because of the fact that it was just such a visually exciting film, and because how Wanda was so cool in this movie, and I'll say, man, I know the movie was effective to the point where there would be these things that happened later on in the film that I was like, oh yeah, I forgot the trailer showed you that snippet of that scene. A lot of times, you kind of go, where's that scene that we saw in that trailer?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it, and I would completely forget about it. So it was effective. Danny Elfman's score, awesome.
Oh,
in this
Danny Elfman
film.
did it.
Overall,
Okay.
I did leave going like, I can't wait to watch that again on IMAX. Like, this is a theater-going, exciting experience.
Absolutely, and because there's so much in it,
Well,
like,
I'm
I'm really
watching it in
excited to see how the second
4DX3D.
movie changes the experience of what I like more, or just as much, or less, depending on that.
But yeah, guys, thanks so much for being here. Subscribe to look out for our spoiler talk. What are you looking forward to most about this movie? Talk with you guys soon.
All right. So there you have it from the great Greg Alba, GGA, and who I like to say, YouTube movie review Jesus, John. I knew they would have a pretty good take without spoiling it, so I definitely had to watch it. Get over there and subscribe to them because, no, I'm just going to say it right now. Congratulations on your 1 million subscribers this year, and on to 2 million. The Real Rejects. Post comments down below. Let me know what you all thought. They got me giddy and excited. I'm ready. 10 million subscribers. Woo!